The golden era of Saturday morning cartoons, a nostalgic journey through time for more than 3 decades, Saturday morning cartoons were not just a routine. They were the heartbeat of a generation, a vibrant community event that brought kids together every week. Hi, I'm Finn, and let's embark on an upbeat journey through the history of Saturday morning cartoons on our channel. From 8 a.m. to noon, households across the nation would come alive with the latest adventures of beloved characters, creating an unmatched experience of shared entertainment. Spider-Man, Batman, Bugs Bunny, Scooby-Doo, Pac-Man. These were not just characters, they were icons shaping pop culture relevance. The origins of Saturday morning cartoons traced back to the 1960s when television became a household item. However, it was in the late 1950s that color TVs gained popularity, paving the way for animated favorites like the Flintstones and the Bugs Bunny Show to enter our living rooms. The Flintstones, which debuted on ABC in 1960, was a groundbreaking animated sitcom that transported the Stone Age into the modern world. This primetime series became a sensation, blending prehistoric humor with contemporary situations, making it a hit with both children and adults. The show followed the lives of Fred and Wilma Flintstone and their neighbors. The Rebels offer a humorous glimpse into the everyday challenges of life in Bedrock. Its initial run lasted until 1966, and its impact was so profound that it secured a place in the Saturday morning lineup, introducing a new generation to the Stone Age family's hilarious escapades. Meanwhile, The Bugs Bunny Show made its primetime debut in 1960 and aired on ABC. This show was a compilation of animated shorts featuring the iconic Looney Tunes character Bugs Bunny. As the charismatic ringmaster, the series showcased the timeless antics of Bugs Bunny, Daffy, Duck, Porky Pig, and many others, providing a delightful mix of humor, wit, and slapstick comedy, just like the Flintstones. The Bugs Bunny Show became a Saturday morning fixture, captivating audiences with its timeless and entertaining characters. Growing up, I caught reruns of classic shows like the Flintstones and the Bugs Bunny Show, and they were a source of immense joy for me. Even though these cartoons originally aired in the 1960s, their timeless humor and clever storytelling made them thoroughly enjoyable. Even for a kid like me watching in later years, what made these shows truly special was their ability to appeal to both kids and adults. The humor was crafted in a way that the little ones could giggle at the playful antics of characters, while the parents could appreciate the clever, often witty jokes embedded in the storylines. It was a unique form of entertainment that brought families together on Saturday mornings. Fast forward to the 90s, and this tradition continued with shows like Animaniacs and Tiny Toon Adventures. These cartoons took a page from the classics, creating an animated experience that seamlessly blended humor suitable for children with clever references and jokes that resonated with the older audience. It was a formula that worked brilliantly, providing a shared viewing experience for families. What I appreciate about these shows is their ability to transcend generations, whether it was the Stone Age charm of the Flintstones or the animated hilarity of Bugs Bunny. These cartoons became a delightful part of family bonding as the torch passed to newer shows like Animaniacs and Tiny Toons. The tradition of crafting content that entertains all age groups continued, creating a legacy of animated classics that families could enjoy together. Saturday mornings in the 1960s were characterized by infectious joy. These shows are brought into households across the nation. Families gathered around their television sets, immersing themselves in the colorful worlds of Bedrock and the Looney Tunes universe, the Flintstones, clever humor, and the Bugs Bunny. Show's timeless charm became an integral part of the Saturday morning ritual, creating cherished memories for viewers of all ages. As the 1960s progressed into the 1970s, the landscape of Saturday morning cartoons evolved. Animation studios jumped into creating original content specifically for this cherished time slot. The 1970s also introduced a slew of new animated series that quickly became iconic shows like Scooby-Doo. Where Are You? Debuted in 1969, but gained immense popularity. In the early 70s, The Adventures of Scooby and the Mystery Inc. Gang became synonymous with Saturday morning excitement, combining mystery humor with a touch of the supernatural Scooby-Doo.
I had always thought that kids in a haunted house would be a big hit. Going back to the days when, as a kid, I would go and look at Abbott and Costello, Meet Frankenstein, and movies like that. I figured there was a great opportunity to do that, played for laughs in animation, and developed a show called Who's Scared, with 2 S's, Scared, and with Hanna-Barbera, and there was a dog in there, but the dog was in the background, and it was the same basic group of kids, but it was much more serious. And went and presented them. This was really the cornerstone of the whole lineup, because I was convinced this was going to be the biggest hit that we ever. I booked a red eye to go back to California, because we were set another meeting up in about 4 days. And on the plane, I couldn't sleep. There's a red eye, and I'm listening to music, and as we're landing, as we're going in for the landing, Frank Sinatra comes on, and I hear him say, "Scooby-Dooby-Doo." And it's at that point I said, yeah, that's it. We'll take the dog, we'll call it Scooby-Doo, and move him up front, and it'll be the dog show. And it'll be, our Abbott and Costello will be Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. And went there, and in a matter of 2 hours, we had revised the concept, and it worked. It just worked great. We could take all the stories that we developed, and just with this refocusing, we solved the Frank Stanton problem, because then it became all-out comedy. The threats were just as serious, on the air continually since 1968. So it's been on the air 33 years, in various formats. To keep it fresh and everything, we did Scooby-Doo movies with guest stars. We did Scrappy-Doo, which was his little nephew. We did a lot of different things to keep the format going. And now a whole new generation of kids have discovered it. I think there are a lot of adults who grew up with it.
Scooby and the Mystery Inc. Gang were undoubtedly entertaining, with their humorous blend of mystery, humor, and a touch of the supernatural. However, for some, the formulaic nature of each episode, where a spooky mystery is unraveled, often revealing a villain using a familiar template, could make the show seem a bit cut and paste. As a kid, the predictability of the plot lines might have led to a sense of repetitiveness. Nevertheless, it's important to acknowledge that despite any perceived repetitiveness, Scooby-Doo has endured as a beloved classic. Its impact on popular culture is undeniable, and the characters have become iconic figures in the world of animation. The show's ability to blend humor, mystery, and friendship has left an indelible mark, even if, for some, the cut-and-paste nature became evident over time. So, while personal tastes may vary, there's no denying the enduring popularity of Scooby-Doo and its place as a cornerstone in the world of animated entertainment, offering a unique blend of spookiness and humor that has resonated with audiences across generations. Another notable entry was Josie and the Pussycats, a groovy animated series that followed the musical escapades of an all-female rock band. With catchy tunes and a fun, adventurous spirit, the show became a favorite among young viewers. As the 70s progressed, more diverse and socially conscious cartoons emerged. Schoolhouse Rock blended education with catchy tunes, teaching kids everything from grammar to history in a fun and memorable way. This innovative approach to combining learning with entertainment was a testament to the evolving landscape of Saturday morning programming. One of the most groundbreaking cartoons of the 70s was Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. Created by Bill Cosby, the show addressed social issues and provided positive messages through relatable characters, resonating with a diverse audience. Saturday morning cartoons in the 1970s weren't just a source of entertainment. They were a cultural phenomenon that brought families together. Whether it was solving mysteries with Scooby-Doo, singing along with Schoolhouse Rock, or enjoying the socially conscious narratives of Fat Albert, these cartoons reflected the dynamic spirit of the era. The 1980s marked a transformative era for Saturday morning cartoons, characterized by a shift in focus from mere entertainment to a strategic marketing approach that often turned animated series into 30-minute toy commercials. This decade saw the rise of animated shows designed not only to capture the hearts of young viewers, but also to sell toys and merchandise associated with the characters. One of the defining features of 1980s cartoons was their close ties to toy lines. Shows like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Transformers, and G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, were not just animated series, they were carefully crafted vehicles to promote action figures and other related products. The characters on these shows were essentially living, breathing advertisements for the toys lining store shelves. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, for instance, featured a powerful hero defending the magical land of Eternia from the villainous Skeletor. The animated adventures are seamlessly integrated with a line of action figures, each character serving as both a cartoon personality and a tangible toy to be collected by eager children. Similarly, Transformers took the concept of animated robots that could change into vehicles and turned it into a phenomenon. The Autobots and Decepticons, with their compelling storylines, became the central figures in a massive toy line. Children were not only captivated by the animated battles on screen, but were also encouraged to collect the corresponding transforming toys. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, took a similar approach, blending action-packed storytelling with a diverse cast of characters that conveniently translated into an expansive line of action figures. The show's tagline, "Knowing is half the battle," became iconic, emphasizing moral lessons while subtly promoting the associated toy line. While these shows were undoubtedly entertaining and became cultural touchstones for many, it's hard to ignore the overt commercialization that defined the 1980s cartoon landscape. Animated series were strategically developed to drive toy sales, creating a symbiotic relationship between the on-screen narratives and the tangible products lining store shelves. This era of Saturday morning cartoons left an indelible mark on pop culture, with many adults today fondly reminiscing about the hours spent watching these animated adventures and collecting the corresponding toys. The 1980s cartoons may have blurred the line between entertainment and marketing, but they undeniably contributed to the nostalgic landscape of a generation raised on the vibrant, animated world of Saturday mornings. For those of us who grew up in the vibrant era of the 80s and 90s, looking back feels like donning rose-tinted glasses. Every commercial, every jingle carries with it a flood of nostalgic memories. The products from that time still hold a special place in the hearts of those who were children then. It's a sentiment that's hard for today's kids to grasp because everything in their world is instant, thanks to the internet. Back in our day, commercials weren't just interruptions. They were part of the experience. Each one etched a memory in our minds, and the products being advertised became more than just items. They became a part of our childhood narrative. The connection we share with those products goes beyond mere consumerism. It's a link to a time when Saturday mornings were sacred, and the excitement of seeing our favorite animated characters on TV was unparalleled. Today's kids might struggle to comprehend the depth of these connections in an age where everything is at their fingertips with a simple click. The 80s and 90s weren't just about the products, they were about the experiences they represented. Back in our day, commercials weren't just interruptions, they were part of the experience. Each one etched a memory in our minds, and the products being advertised became more than just items. They became a part of our childhood narrative. The connection we share with those products goes beyond mere consumerism. It's a link to a time when Saturday mornings were sacred, and the excitement of seeing our favorite animated characters on TV was unparalleled. Today's kids might struggle to comprehend the depth of these connections in an age where everything is at their fingertips with a simple click. The 80s and 90s weren't just about the products, they were about the experiences they represented. Each commercial was a snapshot of our shared cultural upbringing, a time when waiting for a favorite show or saving up for a beloved toy created a sense of anticipation that's difficult to replicate in today's on-demand world. So, as we reflect on those bygone days, we do so with a fondness that transcends the mere objects of our nostalgia. It's about the simplicity, the thrill, and the tangible joy of a time when the world seemed a bit more magical, and the commercials were an integral part of the enchantment. The 80s marked the peak of Saturday morning cartoons, not just as entertainment, but as a marketing powerhouse. Characters became brands, with partnerships between animation studios, toy companies, and video game producers.
Those of us in children's television on the broadcast side and the syndication side were regarded as the bad guys, because the people behind that act, Peggy Charon and the group, were passionate in their belief that some of the things we were doing for children were harmful to children. So we were naturally adversarial. But there were components to the act that I personally was very supportive of. For example, one of the main things the act did was limit the amount of commercials in children's television, and I was all for that. And so there was good and bad with the act. The limitation of commercial minutes, I was in favor of. The separation between commercial and program content, I was supportive of.
Saturday morning cartoons of the 1990s were a cultural phenomenon, defining an era and leaving an indelible mark on the childhoods of many. This period was characterized by a diverse array of animated shows that catered to a broad audience, combining humor, action, and imaginative storytelling. One of the standout series of the 1990s was the Disney Afternoon lineup, featuring iconic shows like DuckTales, Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers, and Darkwing Duck. These animated gems brought beloved characters to life and showcased the creativity and storytelling prowess of Disney. Each show had its unique charm, captivating audiences with adventurous tales and unforgettable characters. If only Disney could learn to do that again. The superhero genre also thrived in the 90s, with shows like X-Men, the animated series, and Batman, the animated series, becoming instant classics.
Stan and I would have long discussions when I was at Marvel about his favorite characters, and he loved X-Men. And one day I was talking to him, and he was saying it's about disenfranchised teens. He said, well, I've never quite thought of it that way, but yes, it's kids who are different. He said every kid, including me, felt like an awkward kid, and I told my boss, I'm gonna order X-Men, and he said, But he said to me, okay, Mark, I'll let you do it, but you understand if it doesn't work. And are you willing to put that much behind the show? And I said, yeah. And we went from being the fourth network to #1 with X-Men. And
these series elevated the standard for animated storytelling, tackling complex themes and story arcs that resonated with both children and adults. X-Men introduced a new generation to the world of mutants, while Batman delved into the dark and atmospheric realm of Gotham City, captivating audiences with its noir-inspired animation. For those seeking a dose of hilarity, Animaniacs and Tiny Toon Adventures emerged as staples of Saturday morning programming. With their irreverent humor and clever writing, these shows not only entertained but also appealed to a wide age range, proving that cartoons could be smart, funny, and engaging. The 90s also witnessed the rise of Japanese anime on Saturday mornings, with series like Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. Dragon Ball Z, the sequel to the original Dragon Ball series, became a cultural phenomenon with its intense battles, epic story arcs, and memorable characters. The saga of Goku and his friends defending Earth against powerful foes resonated with audiences, leading to a dedicated fan base. The show's popularity paved the way for the broader acceptance of anime in Western markets, showcasing the appeal of intricate storytelling and dynamic animation. Sailor Moon, on the other hand, captivated audiences with its magical girl narrative, blending action, romance, and themes of friendship. The adventures of Usagi Tsukuno and her sailor guardians showcased a different facet of anime, appealing to a predominantly female audience. Sailor Moon broke gender stereotypes and demonstrated that anime could cater to a diverse audience with its engaging storytelling and character development. Both Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon became staples of the burgeoning anime scene in the late 90s. Their success prompted broadcasters to explore and introduce more anime series to Western audiences. The anime boom expanded as a result, with fans seeking out new titles, genres, and styles from Japan. These series were instrumental in establishing anime as a cultural force outside of Japan. Their impact is evident in the continued popularity of anime today, with a vast and dedicated global fan base. The late 90s anime boom marked a turning point in entertainment, demonstrating the universal appeal of Japanese animation and paving the way for the diverse array of anime that continues to captivate audiences worldwide. In addition to the entertainment value, many 90s cartoons carried messages of friendship, morality, and self-discovery. Shows like Captain Planet and the Planeteers, conceived by media mogul Ted Turner, emerged as unique environmental superhero series in the 90s. The show featured a somewhat corny but earnest premise, where each episode introduced a new eco-villain wreaking havoc on the planet through pollution. In response, a diverse group of teenagers known as the Planeteers united forces to combat these environmental threats. The central theme of the series revolved around the power of teamwork and environmental consciousness. The Planeteers, each armed with a magical ring representing an element, would combine their strengths to summon Captain Planet, a green-skinned superhero with the mission of protecting the Earth from ecological harm. While the episodic formula may have been somewhat predictable, with a new villain and environmental crisis each week, the show's underlying message about the importance of environmental stewardship and collective action resonated with its audience. Captain Planet and the Planeteers stood out not only for its commitment to educating viewers about ecological issues, but also for its optimistic belief that positive change could be achieved through collaboration and environmental responsibility, while the Powerpuff Girls showcased the strength of female characters. As the decade progressed, the landscape of Saturday morning cartoons remained unchanged, influenced by shifting viewing habits and the emergence of new platforms. However, the cartoons of the 90s remain a nostalgic touchstone for those who grew up in that era. In 1990, the government, acknowledging the responsibility society had towards children, implemented the KidVid rules. The Children's Television Act of 1990 sought to increase the quality of educational programming for kids, recognizing television's potential to benefit society. By 1997, the FCC had established regulations requiring networks to broadcast at least 3 hours of educational content per week. While regulations played a part, the decline of Saturday morning cartoons was also influenced by the rise of cable, home video, and shifting animation resources. Today, the landscape has transformed. The availability of content 24/7 has empowered consumers to choose their entertainment at their convenience. While the era of Saturday morning cartoons may have ended, it remains a cultural phenomenon that shaped the childhoods of many, providing a shared experience that transcended generations. So whether you were part of the Saturday morning cartoon generation or still enjoy cartoons on a lazy weekend, the impact of this golden era is undeniable. Join us on this nostalgic journey, celebrating the joy, creativity, and shared experiences that define a significant part of our cultural history. And remember, it's not just about the cartoons. It's about the fun, the escapism, and the brilliance of imaginative characters that made Saturday mornings truly special. If you enjoy this video, please show your support by subscribing.